You ever notice how sometimes the smallest thing you do, the subtlest little move, can light a guy up in a way that feels way bigger than it should? Like you're not even trying. You're just breathing close to his skin, and suddenly he's hooked like you whispered the dirtiest secret he's ever heard. That's the thing about breathe. It's invisible. It's soft. It's not even physical contact in the usual sense, but damn, it hits harder than touch sometimes. And here's the crazy part: men don't talk about it. They won't sit down with their boys and say, bro, I love when she breathes on my neck. They'll never say it, but they fantasize about it. It's one of those unspoken addictions. Your breath on his skin is like fire and comfort at the same time. And if you learn how to use it, you can flip switches inside him that even he doesn't understand. So let's break down why guys secretly crave this, why they imagine it, why they can't get it out of their heads once you've done it. Because when you understand how men think, when you know these subtle triggers, you stop playing the game blind. You start leading it. And this isn't about manipulation. It's about connection. It's about intimacy. It's about giving him something so memorable that he associates you with feelings no one else ever unlocked. Key point number one, it's the element of surprise. See, a kiss is expected. A touch is expected. Even sex follows a rhythm that the body kind of prepares for. But your breath, that's unexpected. It sneaks past his defenses. Imagine you're close to his neck or his ear or even his chest, and instead of rushing straight to a kiss, you just hover, breathe, linger there. That pause makes him feel like he's standing at the edge of a cliff, heart racing, waiting for the fall. Men fantasize about that edge, that moment of suspense, because it makes the eventual touch feel 10 times more electric. Key point number two, it wakes up his senses. Guys live in a world where so much is loud, fast, in your face, work stress, noise, constant distractions. Your breath is the opposite. It slows him down, pulls him into the present. When your breath brushes his skin, it's like the world goes quiet and he feels everything more intensely. He's not just aware of his body, he's aware of you, of your closeness, of the fact that you're choosing this exact moment to tease his nerves awake. That's why it feels addictive, because it breaks through all the noise of his life. And let's be real, men love to feel desired. That's key point number three. Your breath tells him without words that you're invested in him, not just the act. Breath is intimate. You don't breathe that close to just anyone. So when you let your breath touch his skin, it says, you have me here right now. That quiet primal signal hits him in a way he can't explain, but he knows it means something. It makes him feel chosen. And guys fantasize about that, about being the one you focus all that softness and desire on. Now let's dive even deeper into the fantasy, because when I say guys are addicted to the feeling of your breath, I don't mean it lightly. Addiction isn't just about craving the high, it's about how your brain starts associating that high with a specific person. Every time he feels it, it imprints you on him. And what men secretly love about this is that it's not repeatable with just anyone. Breath has your scent, your warmth, your rhythm. It's uniquely you. And once he's tasted that, it sticks. It's like hearing a song that reminds you of someone. It lingers long after the moment ends. That's what makes it secretly powerful. Let's expand on the fantasies themselves, because men aren't always straightforward about what they want, and half the time they don't even know how to describe it. They'll say they like kissing, they'll say they like touch, but in the back of their head, they're imagining something more primal, something that feels like surrender. And your breath hovering and brushing against his skin is exactly that. It puts him in a space where he feels both desired and powerless at the same time. And men love that contradiction, being strong but feeling undone by you. Here's one fantasy: when your breath is on his neck while you're straddling him, he feels like he's being claimed. It's not just sexual, it's territorial. Men have this deep, unspoken fantasy of being owned by the woman they crave, and your breath on his neck is like a brand. He feels it and his brain says, she's here, she's choosing me, she's close enough to ruin me, and I want that. That's not just physical arousal, it's emotional submission. And guys secretly fantasize about that way more than they'll ever admit. Another fantasy, your breath near his ear. That one is nuclear. Why? Because the ear is directly linked to nerves that trigger goosebumps across the body. So when you breathe there, he feels it in places way beyond the ear. But here's the kicker. It's not just about sensation, it's about intimacy. The ear is where you whisper, it's where secrets live. So when your breath teases there, his brain instantly goes to, What's she going to say? What's she going to do next? That unknown becomes addictive. Guys replay it over and over because it's not just the touch, it's the story they imagine happening next. And let's talk chest. When you lay your head on his chest, close enough that he feels your breath rising and falling against his skin, it does two things. One, it soothes him. It says, "You're safe. I trust you enough to rest here." And two, it arouses him, not in the obvious way, but in the way that makes him fantasize about holding you forever, about being the guy you relax into. That's an ego thing, yes, but it's also love. Men want to feel like the one you collapse into after the world beats you up. Your breath on his chest is like proof of that, and it sticks in his mind. Now, here's a big one, your breath right before a kiss. Men fantasize about that moment constantly. Think about it. He's looking at your lips, waiting, heart pounding, and instead of rushing, you let your breath graze his mouth first. That pause is torture in the best way. It's the kind of detail that makes him obsessed because it's rare. Most people rush. You instead give him that second where he feels the anticipation so heavy it's almost unbearable. That moment is fantasy fuel, and it makes him crave your kiss like it's the only thing that can save him. Another fantasy zone, his lower stomach. This is where guys feel the most exposed, the most vulnerable. When your breath touches there, he feels like you're peeling him open, like you're standing right at the edge of his control. Men fantasize about that because it's dangerous. It's the place where desire and surrender meet. And when your breath hits that spot, it's game over for him. He's not thinking about control anymore. He's thinking about how he'd do anything for more of that. Now, let's tie these fantasies back to psychology, because this is where the addiction part makes sense. Men crave experiences that are rare, that feel exclusive. Anyone can kiss him, anyone can touch him. But breath, that's something not everyone does. It's not in the standard playbook, which means when you use it, you set yourself apart without even trying. You become unforgettable. And the more he replays it in his head, the more he starts to crave you specifically. That's the secret power. Breath is personal. It carries your smell, your warmth, your rhythm, your femininity. No one else can replicate that. So here's the truth. When men fantasize about your breath on their skin, they're really fantasizing about intimacy that feels bigger than sex. They're fantasizing about feeling chosen, claimed, teased, soothed, undone. They're fantasizing about being in a moment so raw and so simple that it sticks like a tattoo. That's why it feels addictive, because it's more than skin, it's memory. And every time you give him that, you're not just in his bed, you're in his mind. Think about it like this. The reason your breath drives him insane isn't because of some big dramatic gesture. It's because it's subtle. It's because it's not what's expected. That's what makes it feel like a secret, something just between you and him. And guys, more than they'll ever admit, fantasize about things that feel private. They want to feel like they've been given access to a side of you no one else gets. And when you lean in, when your breath brushes across his skin, it tells him silently, this is for you, no one else. That's the kind of intimacy that makes him compare everyone else to you and find them lacking. Let's break down the last layers of these fantasies. Fantasy number 6 is your breath while you're laughing close to him. This one's different. It's playful, not just seductive. Imagine you're joking around, your face close, and your laughter hits his skin. To him, that's electric. It's not only sensual, it's joyful. Men secretly fantasize about being the guy who makes you laugh so hard you can't pull away. Your breath carries that laughter, and it etches the moment into his brain. It says intimacy isn't only about sex, it's about being your safe space, your fun space. And that combo is deadly. Fantasy 7, your breath while whispering something personal. Now, this doesn't even have to be dirty. It could be, I love being here with you, or you make me feel so alive, or even something teasing. But when you whisper it close enough that he feels your breath tickle his skin, he's not just hearing the words, he's feeling them. Men fantasize about that exact sensation because it hits double the mind. Here's the message, the body feels the breath. That's like desire and devotion wrapped up in one simple act. Fantasy 8, your breath during slow moments. See, not every intimate encounter is fast or wild. Sometimes it's slow, stretched out, and that's when breath becomes the main event. He feels your rhythm, your pauses, your sighs, and it pulls him deeper into the moment. Men fantasize about this because it's rare. In a world obsessed with speed, you're showing him how to savor. Your breath says, don't rush. Feel this. And when you gift him that, you give him an intimacy he didn't even know he was starving for. And finally, fantasy 9, your breath right after. Those quiet moments when it's just the two of you catching your breath, bodies close, skin still humming. He feels your breath on him and it's like proof. Proof that you were there, proof that it was real, proof that he mattered in that moment. Men fantasize about this one more than anything because it ties sex to meaning. It turns physical release into emotional memory. That's the moment he replays in his head when he misses you, when he thinks about what makes you different, when he knows deep down you're the one he doesn't want to lose. Now, I want to pull all of this together for you because it's easy to hear this and think, okay, so it's just about using my breath like a trick.
No.
That's not it. This isn't about manipulation. It's about awareness. It's about understanding the psychology of intimacy and using it to build deeper connection. When you realize how much power there is in something as simple as your breath, you stop underestimating yourself. You stop thinking you have to be anyone else, do anything extreme, or play games. You start seeing that your presence, your warmth, your energy are already the thing that drives him crazy. And here's the real kicker: men don't even understand this about themselves. That's why they'll never tell you they fantasize about it, but you'll notice it in the way they respond. You'll see it in the way his body shivers, the way he exhales differently, the way his arms pull you tighter. That's him telling you without words, this is it. This is what I crave. And when you give him that, not once, but over and over, you're creating an imprint. You're teaching his body and his mind to associate safety, pleasure, and closeness with you. That's what makes it addictive. So if you really want to leave him hooked, if you want him thinking about you long after the night is over, here's the secret: don't just focus on the big moves. Don't obsess over whether you're good enough in bed or whether you're performing right. Pay attention to the little things. Pay attention to the way your presence makes him feel, because your breath, something so natural, so human, is a weapon of intimacy when you know how to use it. It teases, it comforts, it excites, it bonds. And once you've given him that experience, trust me, he won't be chasing anyone else because he knows no one else can give him you. And maybe that's the most important part. At the heart of all of this isn't just a list of fantasies. It's the truth that men crave connection that feels real. They want to be undone, yes, but they also want to feel safe. They want to be desired, yes, but they also want to feel chosen. And your breath, simple as it sounds, is the bridge between those desires. It's what ties the physical to the emotional. It's what makes sex not just sex, but something that lingers, something that lives in his memory, something he fantasizes about over and over again. So next time you're close enough, don't rush it. Hover. Pause. Let him feel the heat of your breath before anything else. Watch the way his body reacts, the way his eyes close, the way he leans into it. That's not just arousal, it's proof. Proof that he's hooked. Proof that this is different, proof that what he's fantasized about is finally real. And when you see that, you'll realize you don't need to try so hard to be unforgettable. You already are. And here's the thing: if you really want to understand why breath is so powerful, you have to step into his world for a moment. Men are taught to be physical, to use their hands, their bodies, their strength. They're rarely taught to savor the soft. That's why when your breath comes into play, it blindsides them. It's delicate, but it carries an intensity that strength can't match. It makes them feel something that they didn't even know they were craving. That's why so many of his fantasies center around it without him ever realizing why. Let me give you 3 more hidden fantasies that men hold about your breath on their skin. The first is when your breath hits his back. Maybe you're hugging him from behind, maybe you're kissing down his shoulder, and you let your breath linger there. This is huge because men rarely get touched in places that aren't obvious. When you breathe against his back, you're telling him, I see all of you, even the parts no one notices. Men fantasize about that kind of full body attention because it makes them feel whole, not just desired for the parts they expect you to want. The second bonus fantasy is your breath when you're half asleep together. Imagine he's drifting off and he feels your breath against his neck or shoulder. It's unconscious, it's natural, and it's insanely comforting. That's when he realizes, she's here, she's mine, I get to have this. Men fantasize about that because it's the dream of every tough guy to have a woman close enough to let her guard down, to let him be her resting place. And your breath in that vulnerable state says more than words ever could. The third is your breath when you're teasing distance. Maybe you're close, lips inches away, but you don't quite touch. You let him feel your breath without giving him the kiss yet. that drives him wild. It's the fantasy of denial, the sweet torture that makes the eventual connection explode. Men fantasize about that because it feeds their hunger. It reminds them that desire isn't about instant gratification, it's about the build-up. And once you've given him that kind of tease, you've hooked him on something he'll chase again and again. Now, here's where this gets even deeper. Beyond the fantasies, beyond the physical reactions, your breath carries meaning. Men connect it to memory. Think about it, he's going to remember the way your breath felt on his skin long after he forgets the details of a night. Memory attaches itself to sensation, and breath is one of the most primal sensations there is. It's the sound of life, its warmth, its presence. So when he recalls it, he doesn't just remember sex, he remembers you. He remembers how he felt around you. That's why it becomes addictive. It's not just physical arousal, it's emotional imprinting. And this is the part I want you to never forget. Intimacy isn't only about what happens in the bedroom. It's about how you make him feel in small, almost invisible ways. The couples who last, the couples who keep the spark alive, are the ones who don't just rely on the big dramatic gestures. They rely on the tiny details that build connection every single day. Your breath is one of those details. It's the moment that turns ordinary closeness into extraordinary intimacy. It's the thing that whispers, "I'm here. I'm with you. You matter." So here's your challenge. Don't underestimate your power. Don't downplay the things that feel too small to matter, because often those are the exact things men carry with them. Those are the things they fantasize about, replay when you're not around, crave without ever finding the words for. When you use your breath intentionally, not as a trick, but as an extension of your presence, you give him something that's rare, something unforgettable, something that ties him to you in ways he doesn't even understand. And maybe that's the real secret. It's not about doing everything perfectly. It's not about being flawless. It's about being felt. Breath is felt. And when he feels it, when he feels you, he stops looking for anyone else. Because in that moment, he has what every man is really chasing. Not just pleasure, but connection. Not just excitement, but home. So next time you're close enough, remember this. You don't have to say the perfect line. You don't have to perform. You don't have to be anyone but yourself. Just breathe. Let him feel the real you on his skin. That's what men secretly fantasize about. That's what keeps them addicted. That's what makes them yours. If this opened your eyes, don't just stop here. Hit that subscribe button right now so you never miss the next secret men wish you didn't know. Drop a comment below with the fantasy that surprised you the most. I'm reading every single one. And if you're ready to take your love life from ordinary to unforgettable, share this video with a friend who needs it too. Your next move could be the one that changes everything. Key point 4, it's raw vulnerability. You might not think about it. Your breath is literally a part of you, a part of your life force. Sharing it that close, letting it mix with his, it makes him feel like you've given him access to something private. Men fantasize about that moment because it's not performance, it's not technique, it's raw. It's the part of you that isn't polished or planned. And when he feels that, he feels safe to be raw too. He can drop the mask, let the tough guy exterior fall away, and just exist in that pulse of connection. And key point 5, the one that men never admit but crave the most, your breath creates the fantasy of anticipation. Every little move you make with it says something's coming. It's the prelude, the foreshadowing. It makes his brain run wild, imagining what you'll do next. Maybe it's a kiss, maybe it's teeth, maybe it's just more breath. But that not knowing is intoxicating. Guys replay that in their minds, sometimes even more than the actual act, because anticipation is the drug and your breath is the trigger. See, when you understand all this, you realize that what feels small to you feels massive to him. He might never tell you, he might never have the language for it, but in his fantasies, in those secret places he never admits out loud, he remembers the times you leaned close, didn't rush, let him feel the heat of you against his skin. That's the kind of memory that keeps him coming back. That makes you unforgettable.